Hi YouTube. Yeah, doing some wiring. This might be quite a short video for tonight. I don't actually have a video for tonight. I want to do this guitar. I tried to do it yesterday, the day before, and it was chaos. I'll not badmouth anybody else, but this is my pal Bob's guitar, and I actually on Sunday I actually messaged him and asked him for the address of whoever it was that wired it, because I want to go and break their thumbs with hammers. I want to go and sit about them with a hammer, because what an arse. Yeah, so we're going to do a wee bit of moaning to start with. Absolute chaos, mess. This is all the using bits of wire that have shielding on them, but not using the shielding bit of it. Like this, bits of tape everywhere. Some of the connections were like, these things have got like, I don't know, 10 strands or something, held on with one strand connected, just all over the place. And it's a mad earth wire system, but it was semi sort of half working, some of it. But things were cutting out when you turned the volumes down and stuff like that, and it was madness. So in Les Paul, we are looking at this upside down. Remember, that's the neck. These are the neck, bridge and tone, neck, volume, neck, tone, bridge, volume, bridge, tone. This one was the other way around. Also, they'd used, see when you look in these pots, B500 volume. I know, John Carter, I know you disagree, but if that's your preference, that's fine. But normally when guitars are getting made, when all the ones I've looked in that have come from a factory, it's B's for volumes and A's for tones. This guy had it the other way around. So I'd spent all day Sunday trying to work out what the hell was going on. So this is 4 push pulls, Jimmy Page wiring. The idea, I mean, you can sort of see these things. What's happened is he's followed a diagram on. There's a Jimmy Page wiring diagram online, and nobody notices that the switch, the 3-way switch. The 3-way switch in that diagram isn't a normal 3-way switch. It's got an extra bit on it, which basically means that it kind of it basically can't be done using the. It's the problem is with the series parallel one. The series parallel one basically cuts it's off. You have to have it in the neck position. The other two positions are off, so it's not ideal. I don't like to have a guitar where you can mess about with the controls and accidentally turn it off. The idea of like, a coil split, going into a solo, I'll hit the humbucker button. It accidentally didn't do it, so instead of playing the solo on a humbucker, I'm playing it on a single coil. Not the end of the world. Going into a solo, press a button, the guitar turns off. Bad. Right, even the same thing with like pickup selectors. It's like you're playing away, blah blah blah, coming up for the change in the song. If you change to the wrong sound, so instead of being, I've accidentally gone, instead of being in the middle position, I've gone to the bridge or whatever, that okay, not great, not what you want to do, but if you accidentally press it and it just turns the guitar off, suddenly you look like an idiot. So I've kind of cheated a little bit. I've done a little bit of pre-wiring. I had to strip the whole thing out. I had to go into the pickups. The pickups were... He's broken into the pickups. He's obviously not had enough wire, and he's used some bits of wire, or I think what's happened is, which I get, I see quite a lot in these sort of things, is they've wired it up as per the diagram. It's not worked, and they've decided what they'll do is just try moving wires about and see if they can make it work. That's what it was doing. It was kind of sort of working. It's like, oh no, it's quite confusing. It wasn't doing, and I just couldn't live with it. And it's my pal Bob. I didn't want to refuse the job. I'd rather make it work. Not seen the guitar yet, but yes. So I've gone through it. I had to take everything to bits, replace quite a lot of these wires, redo all the connections, a few twisted together bits. See if you're going to join 2 wires together, right? I understand the concept of, you stick the 2 wires like that, you twist them together and you solder them. The problem is that's not very strong. You want to join the 2 wires like that and then use heat shrink cabling or whatever, or in this case just tape in some of the bits. But some of the ideas are just mental. I've kind of using like shielded wires but not using the shield, or using the shield instead of the center. So this black wire was, for example, one of the tap wires and the shield, and then there was the red wire was the other tap wire, and then the black wire was thingy. So I've actually gone through these and actually just written on them. That's what, see, these are taped out the way. That's like these are the bridge wires. I've kind of managed to use some of the wires that were still in there. But as I said, I had to completely strip these pots because he'd used them the wrong way around. So he double used them. Sorry, he or she, not sexist. Double used them the wrong way around. So not only getting the bridge and the neck the wrong way around, also getting the volume and the tone the wrong way around, and it didn't work. So I don't use diagrams. I do, but I draw them myself. This is the magic book. So I draw the diagrams myself, but this way I know what it's doing. So the terminology might be a bit mental for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, but I know because I wrote it down in my head. It works. I've ditched the idea of the series parallel switch because, to be honest, it's not really that much use. Instead, he's getting a blower switch, which I've never actually done, but I've heard of them. But I don't know how. I didn't look up a diagram. I worked it out myself. So basically, the bridge tone pot. Nope. The bridge tone pot is going to be a blower. So whatever else the rest of the guitar's doing, you hit the push pot on there, and it gives you the humbucker in the bridge, and with a volume control. That's it, and the tone, volume and tone. So it's like you can have, out of phase and coil splits and blah 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 for one sound, and then you hit that button, bang, and you get the bridge pickup. I could make it bypass a tone. I don't want to, but I think, just to use up all the pots. But it's like the whole, it's kind of come back to bite me in the bum a bit. My pal Taylor he bought a Les Paul, and he was so I'm going to do the Jimmy Page wiring, and I was like, oh, you don't want to do the Jimmy. Everyone tries to do that at some point. You go, oh, I'll get the maximum out of it. It's not that much fun to use when you get it to work, but what a total nightmare. And also explained that thing about the switch. I think he might have it working now. But he was trying to get me to go down, and he wired it up, and it wasn't working. And I was like, oh, no, you do it yourself. It's like, I don't want to do it. Especially when it's somebody else's wiring. Sorry, from doing it from scratch is a different thing. So basically, that's what I'm doing now, even though it's what I should have done at the very start. I was at this for lunchtime, 6 hours on Sunday, just trying to make sense of all this craziness. But all the wires they're all completely different thicknesses, and there's no rhyme or reason to any of it. So it's all in and on. So what I'm going to do now, this video is actually already 8 minutes long, and I've not even started. So I suppose I'll start off with my pre-wiring. So these are the tone pots. It's got the orange drop things, but see, like, rather than just having see if you just snip it and put it on, there's a lot, this is going to be like spaghetti in here, right? So just solder it on nice and connected. This one here is the blower switch, that's why I've already put an earth wire on it. And see the earth wire as well, do it along the top at the end. Do like a ring main on the top. Don't try and do it outside and then squash it in and thing. I mean, honestly, in fact, I might actually be able to show you some of these connections. I don't know whether it'll fit up. Where's my gallery? Camera. Really going to see these? I don't know if the camera's going to show. Is this camera really going to show that? It's not really going to show you, is it? Somebody has put a light on. What if I turn that light off? Let me be able to see it because it's backlit. Better. Quite reflective, isn't it? The phone. Yeah. So it's basically just mental. Just chaos. And it's like, look at it. It looks like, I think it's sawdust in the pots. It's not a good idea having sawdust. It looks like it's been in a swamp or something like that. But I don't know if you can see there, but how these, like the end of the wire, like having 10 mil of exposed cable in this. So it's like it was shorting out all over the place, and if you wiggled things, some things would sort of come to life and all that. This is really just a complaining. This is only for my own sanity. And this whole idea about using cable I know, I know. I've done it before. I used to use guitar speaker cable. And thanks to Chaos for giving me this big roll of this black cable, so I can just cut it to length. I'm not sitting there in an emergency situation. I do understand that if you've not really doing any of this sort of stuff very often, and you just want to try and connect your pickup back up for a gig tonight, yeah, just use any whatever you've got lying about. Maybe you've only got one wee bit of wire. I've totally been there. I've also been in the situation where I've only got this much solder left to do a guitar, because again, Chaos gave me a big roll of solder. It's like, fair, yes. So I'm not running out of solder. I'm not running out of wire. So this way, I'm hoping when this is done, it's actually going to look quite complicated, but not just an absolute mash of nonsense. It should. I mean, I kind of know how to do all this stuff, but I mean, when it's that confusing, right? And this is I don't know. People in here will know what this is. You can tell by the way it crosses over the two. This is a phase switch for the neck pickup, which is going on the neck tone control. You can tell it's a tone because it's got the, again, put it on nice and neat rather than having it kind of hanging about. And this and a couple of pre-wired wires. This wire here, all I need to do to actually make the tone control bit work is feed that onto the output of the volume control. Bang. Or the input of the volume control. It doesn't matter. It can be either way. Yeah. And then that's it sorted. So that's I've kind of dealt with that out of the way. Deal with it later. And to do the actual phase thing, what kind of again, the middle two terminals, you put the plus and the minus from the neck pickup to the middle two, and then when it's in, it routes it to the top two things, and when it's out, it routes it to the bottom two things, which basically just reverses the two wires. It just does that. You can see I've already earthed that, so when this button's pushed in, you see there, it's connecting the middle ones to this top row. So in this case here, when it's going up the way, it's putting this one to earth. So this will be the minus the earth, and then in this one, it'll be putting that to this output. Yep. And then when you pull it up, it puts this one to this, which puts it to the output, and then it puts that one to that, which puts it to the earth. Basically, just flips it around backwards. I think I've actually written it wrong in my diagram. I need to remember to make sure I've done that right. And that's basically that. The phase isn't too bad. I think my point with the Jimmy Page wiring is coil taps are useful if you've got the extra wires. Having a couple of coil taps, yeah, I totally get that. If you don't have the extra wires, putting a phase switch in is quite good because that gives you that. You know, you're starting off with a Les Paul, right? So you've got all the humbucker sounds. What you're really wanting is a more Fendery sound, which a phase switch will give you. So you just put the phase in, bang, that's fine. The series parallel, which is often fitted in these things, it's not really that much use, I don't think. You know, because you obviously can start going, oh, but you can have all the buttons on, so you've got two single coils out of phase with each other, but wired together in series, and it's not as you can get pretty much that sound with a phase switch, and you've obviously got, if you want it to be sound muddy, you can turn the tones all the way down. Yeah, I've actually got somebody coming over to pick up some guitars, so this was basically almost long enough. I might even do it live later on. Yes, I'm just showing a few things of this as well. Also, like whoever it was that wired this didn't put like a washer or a washer, as we call them, on the tops of the knobs. So you're kind of screwing the bolt just onto wood. It's not good enough. You need to have washers. So that the reason all these washers are different is because they're in a wee box of washers. So as we're going there, so I suppose we'll look at the volume control as well. So, well, this is a volume control, and it's going to be the coil split for the. It doesn't really matter whether it's a neck pickup or a bridge pickup. Both volume controls are the same. So, what you do with the volume control is use my pointy thing. This lug, which is actually lug 1, because you look at it that way. So 1, 2, 3. Even though when you look at it from the top when you're wiring it, you would think, oh, 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 3. Not that it matters. You want that to be earthed. The lug 1, and then the volume goes in here and out there. And that's kind of it. as you can see there again with the push pot, you can see that I've run that thing there to earth. That's just going to you put the tap wires on there, or I'm calling them the tap wires, the split wires. The middle two wires from the pickup, normally red and white, don't quote me on that though. Every manufacturer uses different coloured wires. This manufacturer doesn't. He's made it himself, so all the wires are all different thicknesses and sizes and shape. So basically when it's in, this switch isn't doing anything. When you pop it up, it connects whatever is on this terminal to earth. Oh, there we go. So that'll be part one. So I will see you later on. It'll probably be up later on tonight, but at least I've actually got something done. Haha!